Welcome back to the WHHI Daily News. Stephen Combs has joined us. He is the PIO, the Public Information Officer, for the Bluffton Township Fire District. Fire, fire, fire. You know, there are fires up in western North Carolina now, up in the Greenville County and Pickens County, and of course, the terrible California fires. And we just think in our area that we don't really have to worry about that in Hilton Head because we're kind of subtropical. Mm-hmm. But you were just saying, Stephen, and welcome.
Thank you.
That we're kind of below our rainfall and it's pretty dry and there's some things that we need to be aware of.
Right. You know, this time of year, we typically have quite a bit of rain coming through. And unfortunately, the rain that we're normally expecting is very low. We're probably anywhere from 1 to 3 inches across the county below average. And so the conditions for wildfire are ripe, and we want to make sure that residents are aware of that.
All right. There's some great materials from FireWise.
Yes.
That help us to understand what we can do at our homes to make sure that we are being fire safe.
Right.
All right. There's a checklist. You want to go through some of these items?
Well, the main thing that we want to emphasize for the residents is to make sure that they have that defensible space around their home. What we're seeing in a lot of these wildfires is the bushes, pine needle, mulch, things like that are right up against the house, and it doesn't give firefighters the opportunity to defend that home very effectively. And so we're encouraging individuals to begin thinking about, is there pine needles right up against my house? Have I cleared out my gutters? Do I have pine needles or leaves in the valleys on my roof? Those are all areas where embers from wildfire can land and cause ignition to take place.
Well, and you were saying an ember can travel how far?
Several miles, actually. So the embers from a wildfire can travel, 2, 3, up to 5 miles, depending upon windy conditions. And so that again raises a concern because we don't know what kinds of conditions we're going to expect. So we prepare for the worst and we actually hope for the best.
Right, and so there's this home safety checklist, which is great.
Yes.
Clean roofs, replace or repair any loose or missing shingles in your roof, the gutters, debris. What else should we be
so thinking
about?
also about your, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but thinking about your the vents on the end of your home, or the soffit underneath the eaves. There's often some vent spaces there. What you want to do is make sure you have at least an 1/8 inch mesh to cover up any holes that would give access into the attic space. In the event that you do have those embers flying, hopefully they can't get into your attic because you've put that 1/8 inch mesh up there to protect those entry points. And then also think about clearance around your home. Are there trees overhanging the roof that, if they catch fire, would fall on the roof? Clearance for emergency vehicles to get into neighborhoods. The great thing about the FireWise program is you could have entire communities, as few as 8 communities up to as many as 2,500 that just get together and they say, hey, we're going to take a proactive approach to preventing wildfire in our community.
But I think people, it's like we think about hurricanes and all that, but this is like, we don't think about a fire in our area.
You're right.
And so you've come on our show, every month to talk about what we need to do to be prepared.
For sure.
Because you never know.
You don't. And think about our friends up in Horry County. They're still dealing with the fire almost 2 months now. So they have to build into their mindset, how do we prevent something like this from happening again in the future? History repeats itself, and unfortunately, if we're not prepared for it, it's going to devastate our area.
So Stephen, any other tips for us kind of in the close here?
Yeah, absolutely. We always want you to think about being prepared. It doesn't matter if it's a wildfire or hurricane, whatever might come our way, we want you to be prepared. Have a location that you know where you're going. Is it pet friendly? Do you have supplies for 3 days? Those kinds of things are practical every day of the week and every time we think about emergencies in our area.
Home inventory, know what you have.
Absolutely. Make sure you work with your insurance company to check and make sure that your coverage is up to date.
Very good. Thank you, Stephen Combs.
Thank you.
Always a great update.
Thank you.
And thank you all so much for watching this edition of the WHHI Daily News. I'm Robyn Zimmerman. Stay safe and healthy, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye.